with Ange Postecoglou at the moment. I still think the vast majority, I'd even say, of the fan base is definitely with Ange and backs Ange and enjoys the football that we're playing. But do you get the sense at the moment, Brains, that maybe there is a bit more? Maybe the belief in him is starting to wane a bit from the fan base in terms of results wise, because if you look at our results since November of last year and you take it to now, it's not been great. We've not started. Well, I think it's 13 losses, 13 wins since
and
since
the away
November.
form's really bad, isn't it?
The away form, I think we've won 3 in the past 16 games, something like that. We have started the season a bit underwhelmingly results-wise, maybe not performance-wise, but results-wise. Obviously, if you live on social media, you'll get one complexion. If you go to the games, you might get another one. But what's your feeling now in terms of when you speak to fans and what you hear from fans at the moment, in terms of, do you feel that the enthusiasm about Ange is waning at the moment?
So the thing with the Spurs space is that it's so bipolar. It's so extreme, and so it's hard to find kind of rational thought. And being angry after a loss is rational, because that's what the brain does after a loss. And also trying to find the positives in the positives is also rational. But it's when it gets so extreme, which is kind of just the fun of Spurs Online, right? That's what fan bases do. That's why it's interesting. But it just, so it's hard to kind of tell. But when you actually are in stadium, when you're in earshot of the feeling during a game, or even if you're watching it in the pub with a whole bunch of Spurs fans or whatever, there is everyone kind of thinks the same thing in the moments, right? But then there is just there's different mind states. Some people are looking at the bigger picture of the game, well, who cared about all the good stuff that happened? We'd lose the game, and then some people are going, well, no, that was really exciting to watch. So as a fan, I'm entertained, so you're going to get these differences in opinions. Again, in the online space, it feels like 60-40, but when I speak to actual footballers, people who play football or coaches that I'm around a lot, it seems way more balanced. Then people are going, well, look, the football they're playing super good stuff. Regardless of the results in the last however many games, people still talk about Spurs now as a superior team, an elite football team. The way they play, the way they dominate the ball, the things that the manager's trying to do are extremely progressive things. And so it is a case of a couple of things happen differently, and it could be reframed in the entire different way. It's just that Spurs fans come from trauma of it not working with super good managers, and then different styles of play. And there's always something, even with totally pragmatic, boring football, we get fourth, and so, but we're not happy with that. Do you know what I mean? It's we are very hard to please fans because we've been desperate for success for so long. So that kind of takes the sometimes the need to be rational on things out of the play, because you're just so frustrated that even now that we wanted fast forward front foot football, now we get it. We see defensive failure, and we're we just can't ever get this right. So, but I do think, if you just listen to the online space, I think the negative voices are just negative is always louder, right? It's because it's a more powerful downturning emotion, right? So it seems because negative people will cause a bigger bang for their buck. Most of the positive people will not sit there and be no, but I'll argue, you know what I mean? Because it's just being positive. So it's a less burning fuel, positivity, So I don't think if you were to say, oh, people are losing faith in Ange, that's correct in any way, shape, or form. Because if you go to the stadium, you were still hearing the Ange song. We're still in love with the Ange ball. You can't deny that in the games, in those 3 games, there's been way more moments where you're I'm really liking the way we're playing here. Do you know what I mean? So so I just think my worry has always been for him is that I can see that he is trying to do something that is very big to turn a team from what they were and get a whole new bunch of players every window. It's another bunch of players that he has to work into a system. He has to like carve their determination into playing like this. Because I tell you what, it is not like really normal fundamentals that he's then pushing on, especially young kids coming in. But the youngsters will do it for you, right? They will like, fuck it, he's telling me to do it, I'll do it. But the older guys, the more seasoned veterans are the ones in the changing room that you're most likely going to lose. And that's what I worry about Romero. When I see him breaking form or going and doing something crazy, I worry that he's going, this isn't working for me, I'm going to go win the game. And then fans, I also think when they see certain things, they don't interpret in a way that they're going, no, it's just not working. And it's like, no, it's going to take a long time. And I think that's a part of the naivety of how long do you get a group of players to believe, no matter what with the result, believe that we're going in the right way before they start going, look, I've also got my career to think about here. I've got big offers. I don't need to be here while you get every one of these players over 3 years, 3 seasons to finally think the way to play this incredible football. And then I think big players are probably looking at the window going, well, we needed way bigger players than that. Then we need way better quality. You know, that's the tough thing. That's why time's always going to be a problem.
I think there is quite a few people losing faith in Ange. From what I see, anyway. Like I suppose, yeah, it's mainly the online space that I see it, but a lot of people like YouTubers. Big Twitter accounts and stuff that were just fully on the Ange train from that first 10 games of the season have slowly turned, I feel. And the thing that annoys me about it is like, I was actually starting to turn myself. I'm never one of these people that like thinks, oh, you said that then, so you have to stick to it. I change with the new information I've been given. And if you remember, after the buy-in game in our group chat, I was saying, bloody hell, like, look, 2 set pieces, same again, all this, do you know what I mean? And then I saw that he has changed some things on set pieces. He has addressed things. I feel like it was just, we're up against Bayern and maybe they were still coming to terms with the new changes and stuff. Although we could go and concede 3 set pieces to Arsenal this weekend.
Don't even.
But overall, even if we do, we still have changed things, and like I'm seeing improvements like we were just talking about. So that has tipped me to think, actually, this Ange guy, he does care about all facets of the game. He just wants to stick to his principles, which is the attacking side of the game is the most important to him, dominating, scoring, all that sort of stuff. But he does make changes. So with that, I'm like, come on, guys, it's been 1 year. Like you can see that he's making changes. He's making an effort to hide our weaknesses. Just give him a chance. It's not going to be perfect. It might not, Gav was asking, how many games do we give him? But you got to think Arsenal gave Arteta 8 straight losses, I think it was. Was it 8?
It was 8 losses in a row, yeah.
8 losses on the bounce. And then they played.
That was in his second season as well.
Second season. And I truly hope we don't have to go through anything like that, by the way.
If we were, I don't think our fan base would be able to survive.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
And there was still, but then again, most of their fans turned on him anyway, like almost 90%.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, like, you can see changes and people could see certain things that Arteta was doing, like even big coaches like Jose Mourinho, Pep, and all that. I know Pep was his mate, whatever, but they were all saying, look, he's doing this, that, and this, like, give him a chance kind of thing, stick with him. And even this season, Pep has said, I do think Tottenham will be there because of the way that they play. Like, I like the way that they play. So I just feel like he has to be given time. We cannot be like, oh, we need 3 straight wins from the first 3 games of the season after his 1 year with a new squad and injuries and all this.
Josh,
when you say it's his second season and he needs time, we're not going to be the perfect team, then you call for patience, and you do get a certain section of the fan base saying, well, I've been patient for 21 years, I've run out of patience, we need to be, winning things, we've won 1 trophy in the past, we haven't won a trophy for 16 years, how much more patient can I be? Like, what do you say to fans who have just, simply don't have the patience for it anymore?
Well, I think I was about to say go support City, but like, but basically, you've got to remove the two things. You can be patient with Ange, or separate them. Sorry, you can be patient with Ange, back Ange, and still think that the hierarchy should have done more and should have done, because you can be impatient with Levy and patient with Ange, and that's kind of where I am. I feel like we could have done more. I feel like he didn't get his first choice. Ange hasn't got many of his first choice targets in general. Like he hasn't, Raya, or you could go back all the way back to then. Although some people say, he chose Vicario because he spoke to him or whatever. But like, was Solanke really his first choice? His ultimate choice was Odebear? Definitely not. So like, I don't want to sack Ange for sure. I want to be as patient as possible with Ange, but I still think overall our process, our recruitment and things could improve.
Go on, Gav, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, like, a big part of like the mood and the kind of mood swings, the downturns of how fans look at Ange is got in big part to play because of his early success. Like, if we don't start last season as well as we do, we should have just been like, look, if we get 10 in this guy's first 10th in the first season, we should be happy because he's got to reset a whole squad. We have so many crap players that are not going to play. He's got to get them all out. So get his players in. You're not going to get everything you want. It's just the windows, the temperature of buying players. It's all changed in the time he's come into this club. So it's really not the type of deals out there that other managers had a chance here. So like, but then he's made it work, and he's built this squad that's getting better and better, and it's looking more like a squad that can do what he wants to do. And it's happened quite quickly in reality in terms of those things. But he's had like these bursts of like success, and then even this season, like playing now the type of football he plays in areas, it's so good. Even like the idea of dominating games for 69% of the game, it's almost too good too soon in a way, because why are you doing that? So if you're trying to, do you know what I mean? Like so short-term faith is hard to then and you have to understand that about fandom. Like short-term faith is hard to keep if you see 3 losses on a bounce. You're gonna lose a little bit of faith. But what we have to have as a fan base is long-term faith, because it is a project. And so you want to see him when he's got, if he's saying he didn't want to bring a defender in because we've got actually a potential world-class defender coming to us next season. Okay, well then maybe he doesn't want to screw that guy's path up or whatever, maybe he does feel that Phillips is someone who he can believe in as the backup to that, so there's certain things that you just want to see. Okay, I kind of want to get it to a point where he's got all the systems working, he's got the teams, he's got the 2 squads, the first and second squad that he can pull on, and then if there's a run of games where things, do you know what I mean, if then we can't get momentum back in a game, do you know what I mean? I think a lot of this stuff now, I'm more than happy to in games go, that's dreadful, and be angry, because that's what being a fan is. But my long-term faith has not really been affected. My short-term faith is blown because we live in the now, right? So going up against Arsenal when they are at the end of all the hard work to build a squad to be that good. That's why I hate when people compare Arsenal to us. It's like, you are comparing worlds apart for what time he's been given, this money he's been given, the attention, the power to get rid of players who are big names at the club. Ange is nowhere near that yet. So that's why I'm like, okay, look, whatever happens, and I wish the club, I wish someone, a spokesperson, even maybe Ange or someone would just be like, look, here's the path we're on. This is the game we're playing. We're trying to do this big plan, to just relax when things don't go our way in these short term. And if we get really close to winning a FA Cup or something and we lose it, don't throw your toys at the pram. Just enjoy that we did a good run, So it's like trying to take the benefits right now, which is so hard because I've got a list of positives, like a really long list of positives right now of how we play, which is amazing. And it's so annoying because there's downturns to every positive, you know. So
But isn't just that the way we play? It's high risk, high reward, and with yes, you're going to have negatives, but if the positives outweigh the negatives, that's just how you're going to win games. Isn't that how it's played?
But yeah, exactly. And over time, those positives there'll be so many of them. You know what I mean? And like the other side of the game will come up, and then the other side you'll score way more. You know, so I just think that like it's hard right now, and I can understand why it's hard for mass parts of the fan base to just be looking at like. I would say I'm nerdy about football because I coach it, because I want to be a coach, because I'm playing, you know, I'm very, very nerdy. When I speak to coaches about the stuff he's doing, some of them go, I'm taking that. So he is affecting coaches right now, the way he tried to play the game. So I'm seeing that. Some coaches are going, I would never do that. And he's creating that kind of, he's affecting the game. You know what I mean? What he's trying to bring to British football, he is affecting the game. So those are things fans don't care about. I care a lot about it. You guys care about stats, you know. So then we can see different things that fans are just not caring about at all. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to give him as much time as he needs. Do you know what I mean? If we're talking 5-6 years, because I think the club needs that, you know. If I thought he was the wrong guy for a 5-6 year thing, right? As in, we're not seeing any progressive football and nothing's really working. Like, then I would say, but do I think we're going to win the North London Derby? Hell no. Do I think we're going to finish quite low this season? Of course, we're finished quite low this season. But that doesn't mean that I'm saying Ange. I'm saying it's a process. Do you know what I mean?
You think we'll finish quite low this season?
Yeah, I think so.
How low? How low are we talking?
I wouldn't be surprised if we finished 10th, but you have to understand.
10.
I was thinking Gav was positive. I was thinking Gav's been a bit too positive so far.
We're going to finish 10th this season.
You have to hear me out. Like 10th in the league, but I think we will do very well in the Europa League. I think we have a chance. I genuinely think we have a chance in the Europa League to win it. You know, so that's so bipolar. It's like we're going to finish 10th, but we're going to win the Europa League.
To finish 10th, that means we need to finish below teams probably like, you know, West Ham, Brighton, maybe Palace, Newcastle.
No, but my point is that even if we did, I wouldn't be Ange. Like, obviously, I'd love.
Are you predicting that we will finish 10th? I want to nail this down here. Are you predicting?
No, I think we'll be around 6. But
so you think we'll finish lower than we did last season?
6, yeah, I think we'll finish 6. But that's because we have more competitions. I think I hope we try to go on cup runs. I hope that we try focus on, you know, using the squad a lot and trying to actually win competitions, you know, like. But I have faith in the project long term, and I think Ange needs a bit of success in something to keep the fans who don't care about this stuff on his side. So basically what I'm saying is I don't care where we finish in the league this season. You know, I'd love to get us Champions League, but
surely that would be last season where you would think that. This season, surely you have, you know, if the longer he's in the job, you would have to show a bit more progress.
By the end of last season, I didn't care where we finished either. Like, because of the way we started, I was like, we could win this thing. You get caught up, but now it's like I'm saying, my short-term faith is gone, but because I know the size of the project is, and what you want is for him to have 5 or 6 years. So my long-term, can Ange long-term get us like up to number 2 in the league, maybe, you know, but can we win titles like as in Europe and cups with Ange? I think so. So, and even if that's all he does here is wins a couple of trophies, I'd take that all day long.
The problem is, if we're finishing 10th, I don't think he would make it to the final. So that's the thing.
If we're in the Europa League final and he finishes 10th,
he wouldn't. I'm saying he wouldn't make it to the final. He wouldn't make it to the final if we're 10th in the league by March.
This is what you're saying about the fan base right now. Is that this is, and what I've said the whole time is, this is why time is a problem. That's why I said, how many games do you give him? because the
It's going to
fans
be Ryan Mason taking the European,
No.
just like it was. Ryan Mason got to 2 finals in 4 years or something.
No,
like
it'll be Jedinak. No, it'll be like Jedinak taking the final. Something like that.
yeah,
Mason's still there,
that's just an example of saying short-term faith, no, but I have long-term faith.
Yeah.
The reality of the picture is you shouldn't really be looking at the short term. You know what I mean? You just shouldn't. You should give him as long as he needs for the long-term outcome.
Josh, do you feel like a lot of the discourse around how we play under Ange, especially from fans, can be a bit lazy in terms of like they look at this high line, they look at this like risky football, and they go, "Oh, it's not sustainable. Look at this. Look how much space we're leaving. You know, we're always getting caught out." But then they don't realize that a lot of our positives they can come from how risky we are, and all the positives that we get, the great football we play, the domination we get, you know, is gonna leave sometimes the back door open, and sometimes, you know, we don't get the credit when it comes to the positives that we have compared to the negative reaction to how we're getting caught out a lot. And I feel like, do you feel like a lot of the discourse sometimes misses the point of how we play?
Yeah, I do. I think that the problem with this is it's just a results business, as we all know. Like, so if we were winning, no one would be complaining, and that's just the way it is. But what they don't see is the chances that City have given up this season. There was a spell in that game against West Ham where I'm telling you, West Ham could have scored 2 or 3 goals, it seems like, and they conceded chances on the break that looked awful, as in like 2 players, they were 3 on 2. Do you know what I mean? West Ham had a 3-man advantage. That happened like twice in that game, but they didn't concede. So no
You watch
one.
the Arsenal games against Wolves and against Villa, and
Villa
both those games, what chances they conceded.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, though, what I want to say on this. So the long and short of it is, yes, I agree with you 100%. It's lazy. There's so many bits of lazy analysis, things that people say about Basuma, our need for a 6, our our shape, our inverting wingbacks, or whatever. But what I will say is that because it is a results business, Ange and the players need a big scalp to set it straight. Like they need, like, I don't want to move on to the Arsenal topic without you saying or whatever, but like we need to beat Arsenal or do something to pay the fans back that are putting up with all these the silly chances we're conceding at points, because then it makes you believe a bit more. Yeah, we're conceding a few chances a game, like Liverpool, like City are. Actually, not so much Liverpool, but City and Arsenal are. And then we can have faith. Do you know what I mean?
I hear that.